Thank you for joining me, Aina Koyo, on NMH at 1 in this lunch hour. We highlight the news-making headlines in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Here are the news-making headlines. Okahandja residents urge removal of municipality debt collector RedForce. Windhoek will host the first Namibia-Kenya Trade and Investment Conference. Men running across Africa allegedly robbed at gunpoint in Angola. Follow all our programs on our website, which is called One Up 2 or DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 in Namibia. Sierra Leone President Julius Maada Bio is leading the presidential election count. The West African Countries Electoral Commission said after 60% of the votes have been counted, Bio, who's 59, is running for a second term against 12 opponents. His biggest rival is All People Congress candidate Samura Kamara, who narrowly lost to Bio in the last election in 2018. A provincial result sheet showed Bio had received over 1 million votes so far, compared with just under 800,000 for Kamara. Final verified results will be announced within the next 48 hours, the Commission said on Monday afternoon. Visual News brings you local stories across Namibia. After the break, we return with Visual News. Stay with us.
To another exciting episode of Irongo Talk.
Is die weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik gaan byt.
In our visual news this afternoon, pensioner residents of Okahandja and Windhoek, led by activist Seth Gariseb, united in a peaceful demonstration on John Maynard Street, demanding action from the mayor of Windhoek, Joseph Uyapingene. The aggrieved group are headed to the city of Windhoek headquarters to deliver a petition urging the removal of RedForce as the municipality's debt collector and the clearance of pensioner debt. Jamai Bandabele reports.
Good morning, good afternoon, good morning. I am activist Karisep from Okahandja, but basically Okahandja committee on the ground that was elected by the people, not by the council. And Windhoek committee, we are holding hands together and we're working together. That's why I'm today here, representing for Windhoek today, because we are one Namibia, one nation. So why we're here today is because of RedForce. RedForce is a debt collector company and we don't want RedForce. We was not even introduced about RedForce, and we don't know what does RedForce want from us, because they are closing down elders' houses, water, electricity. So we are going to give a petition down here at the municipality to the mayor and to the councillors, because the councillors who are here to represent us, even they are not representing us, they are not fighting for us. So we decided, let's get up for our people and say we don't want RedForce. RedForce it's not coming from Namibia, but I think in RedForce, I know 100% they are elders or they are big people, which are also we are also part of RedForce. Why they are supporting RedForce? So we are here today to go in and over our petition and our unhappiness. But today, it will be a peaceful one. But next time if you come back, it will not be a peaceful one. So we just want today, RedForce go out and the people must write off all the death, because there was also COVID. After 4 years ago, there was a COVID. People lose jobs. People lose businesses. So Go and look in Karutura how people are strike killing. It is councillor's job to go and look how the people are suffering there in Karutura. But you're just sending the debt collectors to come and close down the debt collectors. So we want prepay water, we want prepay electricity for our elders, because you cannot. If somebody is getting 1,400 from the pension money, how and the bill is 200,000, how will that person pay that $1,200? So the idea for us is they must write off the bills, and the people must just start clean with the bills.
The Keetmanshoop municipality yesterday temporarily allocated residents of the Krondlin location. Keetmanshoop Mayor McDonald Hanse on occasion said that the supply of developed land and the demand thereof has always been a problem of the town. Let's have a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to be part of such an important and historic event. Land delivery becomes a burning and challenging subject matter in and around Keetmanshoop and in our country. First and foremost, allow me to welcome you to this propitious event. Your attendance today is an indication of the present need of land. The acute shortage of service land in Keetmanshoop has always been a priority concern to this council. The most profound housing constraints in Keetmanshoop and in Namibia in general is the mismatch between the supply of developable land and the demand thereof. Addressing these persistent imbalances will not only unleash the full potential of housing market and its contribution to the economy, but will also address the social aspects related to sustainable and affordable housing. The shortage of service land and the cost involved in servicing the land is prohibitively high, plus the cumbersome and process involved in the allocation. This limits the provision of affordable housing, especially to the ultra-low income segments. It is evident that the challenge is not only lack of houses, but equally the acute shortage of service plots for housing. This state of affairs brought about mainly by an unequal distribution of financial resources and bureaucracy in the land delivery process. You may agree with me that the current local authority legal framework and the operational policies are not responsive enough to meet the high demand of land by our communities. Therefore, we need to change course and introduce more practical and flexible policies. Land reform was introduced in the world in response to internal and external pressure to resolve or prevent an economic, social, or political crisis. Thus, reform may be considered a problem-solving mechanism. And our country, Namibia, is no exception. The Zimbabwean government was one of the first African countries to begin its land reform in the 80s to address the imbalances in land access ownership. Therefore, this council decided to accelerate land delivery by way of pre-allocating of plots. This process will continue. The golden rule of property as a human right is the right to own property. We believe that only restore someone's dignity, as also spirituality.
Anti-Corruption Commission wants the Vice-Chancellor of Namibia University of Science and Technology, Dr. Harold Naiomab, a probe for corruption. After the break, the Namibian Sun breaks down the reason in today's newspaper review segment.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
The Anti-Corruption Commission wants the Vice-Chancellor of Namibia University of Science and Technology, Dr. Harold Naiomab, probe for corruption, maladministration and mismanagement. This was revealed in a letter seen by Namibian Sun, in which the ACC requested the NAST Council to act on the matter. Naiomab faces allegations of misuse of public funds, nepotism, tribalism and abuse of power. These are serious allegations of administrative corruption against the management of the public institution of academy, which should not be taken lightly, ACC boss Paulus Noah wrote in the letter dated 22 June. ACC wants a forensic probe to be conducted to test the veracity of the avalanche of claims leveled against the under fire Naiomab. A 49-year-old man was fatally stabbed at single quarters in Katutura on Saturday afternoon. Brave Chidera Kavari, a car guard, was stabbed to the left side of his neck and reportedly died instantly. No arrests have been made and the motive behind the stabbing remains unknown. Namibian Police spokesperson Chief Inspector Elifasa Kuwinga confirmed the incident, adding that the suspect is unknown. MIDCO has been forced to call a special general meeting within 3 weeks because no quorum could be reached at the annual general meeting in Grootfontein last Friday. The company can now only operate with government support. If not for $1 million state lifeline, MIDCO would have been liquidated. This is according to stakeholders present at the meeting, where MIDCO made its first financial report for 2022-2023 available. Tinus Pretorius, chairperson of Namibia's Livestock Producer Association, said that MIDCO is operating at a loss of approximately $20 million Namibian dollars per week, reports the Republican. On Republican's page 3, it is reported that it's been 8 years since a parliamentary standing committee found that more old age homes are needed in the country to curb the suffering of senior citizens. However, a report on the matter has continued to gather dust. Between March and August 2016, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Gender Equality, Social Development and Family Affairs visited regions to investigate the state of old age homes in Namibia. Countrywide public hearings followed the second reading of a motion on old age homes, which was originally tabled in the National Assembly by parliamentarian Elma Deinda on the 26th of June 2015. Canadian company Moonbound Mining, which was just listed on the Vancouver Stock Exchange in January, has announced a non-binding letter of intent with Canadian-based Continental Lithium African Development Corporation, reports the Allgemeine Zeitung. The LOI provides for the formation of a joint venture in relation to 7 mining claims referred to as a Strathmore mining claims located in the pegmatite belt between Cape Cross and Wes. According to the AZ page 2, former President Sam Nujoma, who said it is important that churches do not prevent members from taking part in the Olufuko festival, as it is their democratic right to do so. In a speech read on his behalf by the Minister of Industrialization and Trade, Lucia Ipumbu, on Saturday during the Olufuko festival gala dinner at Otapi, Nujoma said church leaders should desist from stopping their congregants from practicing their culture because the Constitution, as the supreme law of the land, gives them the freedom to do so. After the break, we return with more newspaper review, starting with the Namibian newspaper.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Let's continue with our newspaper review. According to the Namibian newspaper, Namibia Statistic Agency has so far received 60,000 applications for 13,000 temporary census jobs as the recruitment deadline comes to a close this week Friday in yet another round of scrambling for job. Namibia is currently sitting with a 49% youth unemployment rate. In order to make a dent in joblessness, albeit temporarily, NSA Statistician General Alex Shimwafeni says the recruitment drive is targeting unemployed youth and will not consider applications from fully employed Namibians. On its page 3, the Namibian reports that 5 long-distance drivers employed by the state-owned Namibia Post, NamPost, are now suing their employer, claiming that the managers have ordered them to break the legal speed limit on the roads they use to carry out their work. A lawyer representing NamPost and 4 of the company's managers yesterday gave notice that the National Postal Service and 4 employees intend to oppose an application the 5 drivers filed in the Windhoek High Court at the end of last week. Lack of jobs and educational opportunities on top of a shortage of capital to start businesses are some of the serious impediments the visually impaired people in the Zambezi region grapple with daily, reports New Era. They feel it's high time they too get the recognition they deserve as Namibians, with people with disabilities making up an estimated 10% of the Namibian population and with 90% of them unemployed. Activist Crispina Matanyambe questioned when those with disabilities are going to be employed and become independent. There have been a significant decline in HIV prevalence among pregnant women in Namibia. The executive director in the health ministry, Ben Nangobe, has said prevalence, which was high as 22% in 2002, decreased to less than 14% by 2022. Nangobe said last week when he briefed the United States Global AIDS Coordinator, Ambassador John Kesasong, on the significant and positive impact of the U.S. President Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. Parates Group celebrates 20 years in Africa by announcing that it will construct Angola's first Tier IV by Design data center in Luanda. This complements the existing Tier 3 by Design DC that the Pan-African telco already owns and operates in Angola. This is the 5th world-class certified and carrier-neutral DC operated by Parates Group in Southern Africa. Windhoek will host the first Namibia-Kenya Trade Conference and Investment Conference, which seeks to enhance partnership between Namibia-Kenya business communities. More on this when we return with our economic news.
The Agenda is a weekly national affairs interview program hosted every Sunday by Namibian Sun editor Toivon Jabela, featuring a panel of high-profile newsmakers, analysts, and experts. The Agenda aims to reach high-end news consumers seeking informed understanding of national issues. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com, and the Namibia Media Holdings Facebook platform. The Agenda focuses on interviews where we put the nation in the hot seat. Contact Agenda at synergy.com.na to get your product and service in the hot seat. The agenda focused on today's conversation.
In our economic news this afternoon, Windhoek will host the first Namibia-Kenya Trade and Investment Conference, which seeks to enhance partnerships between Namibia-Kenya business communities. According to conference founder and co-convener Elvis Mboya, the event is poised to attract over 200 business delegates from both countries. It will take place at the Nampower Convention Center in Windhoek from the 29th to the 30th of June, followed by a voluntary tourism excursion from the 1st to the 4th of June. Confirmed keynote speaker are Lucia Ipumbu, the Minister of Industrialization, Trade and SME Development, Kenya's High Commissioner to Namibia, Ambassador Michael Seilai, as well as a representative from Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, Team Namibia, Kingdom Bank Kenya, and Optiven Real Estate Kenya. Now let's have a look at our economic indicators, proudly brought to you by Bank Windhoek. The Namibian dollar trades for 23 Namibian dollars 74 cents to the British pound and 20 Namibian dollars 43 cents to the euro. Capricorn Investment Group, First Range Namibia, and Letseco Holdings all increase on the NSX stock. Nictus Holding Namibia and Oryx Properties remain the same on the NX stock. Gold increased by 0.08%, while platinum by 0.68%. This leaves Brent crude oil to decrease by negative 1.21% and copper by negative 0.62%. After the break, we return with the news from Africa. Stay with us.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
In our news from the African continent, Zimbabwean politician Seva Kasukuwere might suffer a technical knockout ahead of the Zimbabwe elections on the 23rd of August. The 53-year-old, once the youngest minister under Robert Mugabe, is now facing court action instituted against him by ZANU-PF youth activists alongside the Zimbabwean Electoral Commission. In court papers, Lovedale Magwana argued that Kasukuwere was away from Zimbabwe for 18 months and so does not qualify to be a candidate to the election of the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe. He said he was puzzled that Kasukuwere's papers were accepted at the nomination court. Since announcing his candidature last week, Citizens Coalition for Change leader Nelson Chamisa dismissed Kasukuwere as one of those, but but ZANU-PF has been at the pains to deal with Kasukuwere because he enjoys support from within the ruling party, particularly former Mugabe loyalist. Now moving over to our next story. A man running a length of Africa has told how he has been robbed at gunpoint. Russell Cook from Windhoek is attempting to run 50 kilometers every day. The 26-year-old said he and his team had cameras, phones, cash and passports stolen in an incident in Angola on Saturday. One of the reasons why I wanted to run the length of Africa is because no one has ever done it before, and now we are finding out why, he said. The extreme challenge began at South Africa's most southerly point on the 22nd of April and will finish at Tunisia's most northerly point. Cook aims to cover 14,500 kilometers during the 8-month challenge, crossing 16 borders through cities, rainforests, and 3-month stretch in the Sahara Desert. After the break, we return with the international news. Stay with us.
To another exciting episode of Irongo Talk.
Dit is weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik kan byt.
Ex-OD CEO Rupert Stadler received a suspended sentence and a fine at the end of his Dieselgate trial in Germany earlier today, making him the first high-ranking executive to be convicted over the emission cheating scandal that rocked the car industry in 2015. In line with the plea deal agreed last month, Stadler avoided jail time in return to admitting to fraud by negligence. The Munich District Court instead handed Stadler a suspended sentence of 1 year and 9 months and ordered him to pay a fine of 1.1 million euros. The 60-year-old admitted in May that he allowed vehicles potentially equipped with manipulating software to remain on sale even after learning of the scheme. German car giant Volkswagen, whose subsidiaries include Porsche, Audi, Skoda and Seat, plunged into crisis after admitting in September 2015 that it had installed software to rig emission levels in 11 million diesel vehicles worldwide. The so-called defeated devices made the vehicles appear less polluting in lab tests than they were on the road. After the break, we take a look at our highlights. We'll be right back.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Here are the highlights from today's broadcast. Russell Cook from Windhoek, who is attempting to run the length of Africa, was robbed at gunpoint in Angola. Ex-OD CEO Rupert Stadler received a suspended sentence and a fine at the end of his Dieselgate trial in Germany, making him the first high-ranking executive to be convicted over emission cheating scandals that rocked the car industry in 2015. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 o'clock to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia, Africa and the world, ranging from current affairs, economic news, sports and international headlines. It's goodbye from all of us in studio.